Fraud has changed rapidly, even within the last 12 months. But to get a more full picture, really, you'd go back to the 2020, 21 days, pre pandemic. And then, of course, during the pandemic, where fraud really took off and it really exploded during the pandemic. I think that was mostly because fraudsters realized that they had all these potential victims sitting at home, isolated, sitting on their computers, doing their banking through with their computers, having relationships with their computers, or having relationships on their computers, I should say. Everything became online. It became a digital world. So really in 2021, we saw an absolute explosion of fraud. And this was global. This wasn't just Toronto. This wasn't just Canada. This was a global phenomenon. We saw frauds triple in less than a year. 2021, I believe Canadian Anti-Fraud Center had $120 million in damages. The next year it was over 370. And that was solely because of the pandemic and everybody sitting at home basically and just being, available to the fraudsters. So that was 5 years ago. That was the first explosion within the last 5 years. We have seen over the last few years, we were always asked about artificial intelligence and how that was impacting fraud. 2-3 years ago, the answer was not significantly and mostly documents. So emails and texts. Whereas 5 years ago, you could look at an email or you could look at a text and inevitably there were going to be spelling mistakes. I think primarily because the fraudsters who are all across the world speaking different languages, they're just cutting and pasting their spiels into like Google Translate kind of thing. So then it was inevitable that there was going to be errors when they reproduced it in English. So that was what we used to say, look out for, watch for spelling mistakes, watch for grammatical errors. AI changed that first. It made documents perfect. It made them indistinguishable between fraudulent documents and real documents, whereby now you cannot tell the difference if it's a legitimate email from your bank or from your employer or from the government or from any institution, really. You cannot tell the difference. So that's no longer applicable. We can't say, look for spelling mistakes because you won't find them. They're perfect. Coming up to about a year ago, we saw the real weaponization of artificial intelligence in terms of the collection of information and the use of that information to tailor make their scams and target their specific victims. So whereas a year and a half, 2 years ago, you might get a phone call and you'll answer the phone and the person on the other line would say, hello, sir. Or, they would guess at what bank, this is such and such a bank. And it was easy because you could say, oh, well, I don't bank there. Ha, ha, ha. What they're doing now is they're using artificial intelligence to gather their information before they call you. They know who you are before they call you. They know your name. They know your address. They know where you bank. They know your email address. They may know your driver's license number. They may know your SIN card. So when you answer the phone now, they're saying, hello, Mr. Coffee. This is your bank calling. We're calling about your bank account that end in the numbers 1234. And what they're doing is they're using that information to make themselves more convincing, more compelling, and to gain your trust. That has been the weaponization. So that's the last 5 years of fraud in a nutshell. It's more convincing, more compelling, more damaging now than it ever has been.